welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is another fun day here at Creekside Nursery. We are going to be doing some final dressing, putting the lipstick, as I say, onto the berm because Jerry is re-edging the entire berm, and then we're going to go ahead and get this whole area top dressed in a beautiful blend of compost and pine bark fines. You may have heard me talk about this before, that we use a local supplier. What they do is they do like bulk soils and mulches, those kinds of things. So we talked with them and they made us kind of our own blend of really nice, rich organic compost and aged pine bark fines. We are going to be trying that as far as using it as in a top dressing on areas that we're going to be in kind of planting on a regular basis, that are not on a big slope, that can handle that. So that is going to be like the final kind of buttoning up this whole area today for the winter. Because of course here we are, North Carolina, zone 7B. It is now December. We absolutely can still plant, and in fact, I'm going to be planting some things in the berm after we get that mulch layer topped down. Talk about that in a second. So it's just, we're getting to that point of the season where I'm pretty much done. Like, I've got all my trees in, I've got a good number of my shrubs in, and then just a couple of perennials that we're going to put in here for now. The next big, huge wave of planting in the berm will come in the springtime, when I'm going to put in massive amounts of perennials that will give me lots of color and texture for the rest of those seasons. So what Jerry is doing now, you saw him had the blower and he went through and really kind of blew out the leaves, because we have oak trees that still are holding on to some of their leaves, and they had gotten kind of tucked in to the edging of the berm, and when he's using that bed scaper, those leaves can kind of clog it up. So you can see where he has blown them out of the bed. He and Randy are now working on this side of the berm and really getting a nice new defined edge on this berm. Remember, was that a couple of weeks ago that we were here when he edged it for the first time? When he edged it the first time, he only did about a 2-inch depth. He is now coming back through, because we're getting towards the end, right, where we're kind of finishing it up right here, and he is doing a 7-inch depth on it. If you want to know more about the bed scaper, you can check out the link above. When we were planting the pansies right over my shoulder, we kind of did a little bit more of an in-depth tutorial on this machine. We got it earlier this year, and it has been a massive, huge help because it gives a beautiful defined edge to your flower beds. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, you can see how it is just a really, really defined edge. So on this side, it does a straight edge. This is where we're talking about the 7 inches. And so it cuts it straight here, and then it tapers it back towards the flower bed. We really prefer using a natural edge like this as opposed to metal edging or stones, bricks, something like that, because for us it's just easier to maintain. When we're in the active growing season, like with the grass, we can come through here with the mower, get super close to that edge, cut the grass, and then come back with the weed eater, trimmer, whatever you want to call it, and really clean that edge up. And it keeps the weeds from going from the grass into the flower bed. So it's really easy to maintain. You really only have to come back through like once a year, right before you're going to add your mulch, your compost, whatever your top dressing is, pine needles, whatever it is that you use. You would do this right before that because it does bring up a lot of soil. So you want to do that, and then of course put your top dressing on there to make it look nice and pretty. But it really is a nice way to maintain your edges, gives it a really clean, defined look. So he's going to keep on going all the way around to the other side. Randy is going behind him with the rake and just feathering out that piles of soil. So they're going to finish that, and then we're just going to have to do some mass production of moving that compost mulch blend here and top dressing. Everything that we have planted so far is doing really, really well. Super happy and excited with it. I was just walking over here when I was getting ready to start filming, and if you'll remember, we planted some of the October Magic Ruby camellias from Southern Living, and they have got some new flowers on them. Can you see those sweet little, I know the sun's kind of being a pest, but look at those sweet little blooms. So the camellias are very happy because they have been in the ground for a couple of weeks now, and they are still putting on buds, still putting on fresh flowers, so that's a really, really good sign. The Perfecto Mundo Epic azaleas, they too are doing really nicely. Now obviously azaleas don't bloom right now, but I want to show you this color. I am loving this winter interest color of these azaleas. Azaleas typically will just stay green, but look how beautiful and dark they are. It almost looks like a loropetalum. Of course it is not. It is a beautiful azalea that will get in that 3 to 4 foot range. We have got 6 of them, 3 on each side of the cherry tree. But I do love that beautiful dark foliage for the winter time. We have had multiple freezes. Just this morning it was like 28, 27 degrees. So we have had lots of freezes. Those cooler temperatures are what makes the azalea turn the beautiful color. In the summertime, it will be green. But for now, that winter interest is just stunning. That was a little bonus surprise I didn't realize that they were gonna do, so I do love it. So what we're gonna do is finish edging this out, get everything cleaned up, and then we will, I think what we're gonna use is the work truck, like the nursery dump truck, load it up with all that compost, bring it over here, dump it, and get this spread out and get it going. It's gonna make a huge difference. Jerry did throw up the drone before we started. So once it's all done, I can't wait to show you like a before and an after shot. Massive difference. Yeah, so I think that's it. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So once we get the mulch in, we are gonna go back and plant some perennial sedums, and I think we're gonna put some pansies in. I still have lots of pansies that need to be added, need to be planted. That was a whole thing, if you remember. We were just here the other day, and we planted lots of beautiful pansies right here beside the berm. So we are going to repeat those colors in the berm, beautiful whites and yellows. So we're going to continue that color up here in the berm in certain sections. So lots of good work to do today. It may be cool and brisky out here, but good physical labor. It'll get the blood flowing and get the temperature raising up. So that's what we're going to do. So I think what the plan is of course Jerry got the nice work truck, dumped a pile of the compost blend here, and he has the tractor because we're going to try to work smarter and not harder. So he is going to scoop up some nice big scoops of it and then dump it strategically throughout the berm, and then Randy and I are going to come back through and spread it to make it look all nice and neat and tidy. So let me show this to you. We were dealing with it for the first time like in a flower bed just the other day with the pansies, and man, it is super nice. So Brenna finds it quite, she loves the smell of it. But it is, as you can see, this beautiful blend of compost, and then it has those pine bark fines in it, right? Which is what we love in our clay soil, because our clay soil can tend to get too compacted. That's the downside of it, is that it gets too compacted. And this is the nutrition from the compost, right? And then the aeration from the aged pine bark fines. And you like it to be aged pine bark fines because that way it's already like the decomposition has really already happened. And so the chemistry of this blend is really, really nice. So it's very lightweight, very easy to work with, as opposed to like the a double hammered hardwood mulch, which is great and holds its spot, but it can get really heavy and be kind of cumbersome to put out. Now, the only quote downside of using this as a mulch would be that if you get major rain and you get major wash, because it's not super thick and heavy like a hardwood mulch. If we were to get, you know, if our drainage is not right, it could run, it could wash, it could leave us some ruts. So we'll find out how it does, but for now, he's already got us a couple of little piles back here. So Randy and I are gonna get to spreading, and hopefully this will move pretty quickly. Okie dokie, so the project for today is complete. Did we get done exactly what I said we were gonna do today? No, we did not. Am I very, very happy with what we did? Yes, I am. So we're gonna go through and I wanna show you exactly what we did, how everything looks. Make sure you stay tuned because Jerry's gonna put the drone up once I'm out of here. So that way we can show you the before. So he did the drone before we started filming, and then the after. It's gonna make a huge difference. I personally cannot wait to see what it looks like from the air. From the ground, it looks amazing, fantastic. Of course, like any other project, it took us longer to do than what I had anticipated in my brain, but that is okay because it is done. This bed is buttoned up. If I don't do one more thing to this flower bed until spring when my perennials are ready, then that is perfectly okay. So I want to show you what we did, how it looks, and also we had to, I showed you before at the very beginning where Jerry was blowing the leaves out of the edging of the bed. So I got the mower and just kind of blew them out into the middle of the fields. My mama, sweet thing that she is, came down and mulched them all up for me. Now, you know Mimi, she does not like to be on camera, so we didn't film her, and she surely doesn't want to talk on camera, so I didn't put her on, you know, with a microphone to talk about it, but she told me her exact process of how she makes the leaf litter. I was getting ready, we were cleaning everything up, and I was getting ready to take my buckets with me, and I was like, oh, nope, 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 I need to show you what it looks like. So basically, her whole method of making the leaf litter, because I've had a lot of people ask me about it, it is not hard. Basically, if you have a mower, any kind of lawnmower, honestly, it could be a riding lawnmower or just a regular push mower, you want all your leaves in a pile, and then you're just gonna go back and forth over those leaves until they are mulched up. I have no idea what my child is doing. He is making a racket. Let me look. Bless his heart, he's trying to smooth out the gravel from us Jerry making ruts and everything. So we'll let him beep on his way out of here, and then we'll wrap it up here. Okay, so back to the leaf litter. She mows over it, she said anywhere from like 6 to 10 times. You want to just keep chopping them up, chopping them up, chopping them up. Because of course, the more leaves you have, the thicker it is, right? So you just want to keep mowing them and mowing them and mowing them until they are very fine. Now, she has an old John Deere riding tractor that has been around, gosh, I think since I was in college, so it's been a hot minute. And it is on its last leg. It would not, the mowing deck would not go all the way down to the ground. So she didn't get it as fine as she likes, but it still will do really well. So she puts them in 15-gallon tubs for me. And so you can see now, like I said, these are a little bit bigger than what she likes. Like that's a little big, but that's okay. What she really likes is for it to be like super, super fine, even maybe a little finer than this. So what she does, which I thought was a great idea, is she sprinkles some blood meal on top of it. That will help break down these leaves even faster. She leaves them in an area in her yard where she doesn't see, leaves them outside and lets the rain go on them and just lets them, you know, hang outside. About once a week, she will go and she has a tub like this that's completely empty, and she will take one tub and dump it into that empty tub. It mixes them up, right? Because with compost, you want to aerate it, get some oxygen in there. And so she dumps each tub into the next one. And she'll, like I said, she'll do that like once a week. Then come spring, it will be really broken down because that blood meal helps to break it down. The rain, the wind, not the wind, the sun, all of that helps to break down the leaves. Beautiful compost. So that's what I'm gonna do. I have 2 more tubs, so I have a total of 6 of these tubs. That way in the spring, I can put them on top of my garden boxes when I put in my, you know, like my tomato plants, my pepper plants, and so forth. So this will be a great thing. So I can just stick them out of the way, and there you go. So there was a little side note on how to make leaf litter, and I'll keep you updated on that. Now, to the most fun part, the berm. Look how pretty that looks. Doesn't that just look so nice and polished? Just gorgeous. And I was telling Jerry and Randy, Randy of course was helping us this morning. She had to leave. She's a mama of 2 beautiful little girls, and so she leaves to go pick them up from school. So it's late afternoon, so she is out of here. But by putting in, one benefit of having the mulch down now is that I can really see where my holes are, and planning of putting in the perennials and any other kinds of shrubs. So I'm just going to walk through real quickly, and I'm going to tell you what the plants are. You have seen me plant these, but just as a little refresher, North Pole arborvitaes, beautiful evergreens. Then we have the Jazz Hands loropetalum, 3 of here. Then the lime green smoke bush from Proven Winners, Winecraft Gold, I want to say that is. I think the name of that is correct. We move up, so see I have a nice big huge empty pocket right here, lots of opportunities. I have the Sensation honeysuckle that will climb up the fence. Then we have the Sweet Talker viburnum, little lime punches, 3 of them. In the center we have the Pugster pinker, I think there's 8 of them in there, beautiful. Then the Thundercloud purple plum, beautiful spring flowering tree that will give me lots of beautiful flowers, and then gorgeous burgundy foliage for the rest of the growing season. Brenna's playing with a toy. Another 3 of the little lime punches, another sweet talker, another honeysuckle. So therefore we have balance as far as it goes with this section. Moving up, we just added in the Vino Verde Weigelia. There's 3 of them. Then 3 more of the Jazz Hands Bold loropetalum. Have those down at the bottom. It all repeats. So we have those as well. Then coming up, we have that beautiful Thunderhead pine. Gorgeous. I will love this. I do love it. It is going to be wider than it is tall. We have the Quickfire Fab, 3 hydrangeas behind there, and then the Denim and Lace Russian Sage. I did go ahead and pop into the ground these sedums. There are 5 of them, and it is, I have the tag right here. Hopefully it will be nice and clear. It is the Rock and Round Pure Joy sedum, a perennial sedum. It is going to be hardy in zones 3 to 9, full sun, 10 to 12 inches tall, and a late summer bloomer all the way through the fall. You can see that I have left on their old seed heads, not seed heads, I'm sorry y'all, it's late, I'm tired. They're flower heads, right? So these are their flowers. You can see just a little bit of pink still showing through there. I'm gonna leave those on there for a while because one, you can see that the plant is there. Now, don't say, oh my gosh, they're dead. No, they're not. You know how I know they're not dead? You see that green right there? That is the plant, very much alive. The freeze kills this. I could at this point, if it drove me crazy, I could cut it all the way back. But I like, because this is a new flower bed, I like seeing that those plants are there. Love it dry, love it hot, love to be neglected. Perfect pairing on top of this berm. All the water will shed away. Be perfect with the Russian sage right there, and it will do wonderful. And then come on over so you can see the other side as well. Just look at that. Oh, isn't that pretty? So pretty, so pretty. And then down here, the other side of the berm. Lovely. I am going to have some sedums coming in the spring, so I will probably repeat a type of perennial sedum somewhere in here or up along in here. I like to have a little bit of repetitiveness, but not the exact same. And then of course, coming on down, everybody is looking great. That Russian sage is really standing out, even though it is dormant, it's doing great. More of the quick fire fab hydrangeas back there. There are 3 of them. So we've got the 1, the 2, and then the 3. Stellar Ruby Magnolia from Southern Living. And then the azaleas. Love these. Perfecto Mundo Epics. I have a pink and a coral. Don't remember which one is which, but group of 3. Nice, big, huge opening right here where I can plant perennials. Then that same azalea comes right here. Another nice, big, open area. All of this is open. Fantastic. And then the other Perfecto Mundo Epic Azalea down here as well, in groups of 3, and then groups of 3. And then this is the Yoshino cherry, and we have 2 of those. So there's 1 Yoshino here, and then there's 1 there. So I'll have 3 spring flowering trees. I'll have Yoshino, Thundercloud, Yoshino. Yeah, and then coming on down here, of course, we have the camellias, the October Magic Ruby camellias. These will be wider than they are tall. These are sun-loving camellias, so they will do really nicely. I have old sweet little pufferfish hydrangea. That'll get nice and tall, gorgeous blooms on it. And then of course the golden Oakland holly, which will eventually be nice and big, and it has that gorgeous variegation in it. You can see it is a little bit more green right now. That is just because of the winter sun. It is not getting as much sun as it will in the summertime, so it's turning a little bit more green for me. That's okay. I'm not worried about it because I know in the summertime it's going to get tons of sun and it'll brighten right back up. So no big deal on that. Really big day's work today. We have had some major projects here at the end of the season, as far as like we got the French drain done, then we've got this berm done, lots of things going on up at production. We're gonna have concrete poured coming next week. Lots of things are still happening, even though we are off for this season. We are certainly not, but lots of fun things. It is going to certainly be a beautiful spring and summer and the coming years. Stay tuned. Jerry's gonna throw the drone up. As always, thanks so much for gardening with Creekside. We so do appreciate y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.